I literally was in denial I was pregnant until I gave birth. And there's a reason.
What?
Yeah, because I didn't think it was real.
When my midwife did arrive at my house to check on me, I thought, based off the intensity of the contractions, that I was going to be somewhere around 5, maybe 6 centimeters. Girl, I was at 2.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Soon as my contraction hit, I was at home and I said, Paul, I'm just telling you, birth plan has changed. I'm taking drugs.
It's a big month. It's your birthday month. It's
Yes.
Kennedy's birthday month. It's Neo's birthday month.
Exactly.
We have a lot of January birthday love on this show.
Welcome to Mama and Her, the podcast.
A space for mature mothers and women navigating the exciting journey of motherhood after 35.
I'm Kayla,
And I'm Shannon.
your new mom friends, inviting you into conversation to help you thrive in your mom era.
We celebrate all the incredible layers that make you you. Before mom, there was and still is so much more to you.
We're here to remind our community that you are still that girl.
Welcome back to another episode of Mama and Her, the podcast where motherhood, faith, and community meet. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Shannon. We love that you're here with us. And now we're a little bit into 2025. We hope that it has been good to you so far.
Yeah.
Cause we're in it. We're in the new year. So
Which is so crazy to believe how we're 2025. Yeah, like where does the time go?
it literally went by so fast. And the sound of 2025 sounds
It's still having we're still
yeah.
messing up. Like
Yeah.
I'm still writing 2024, scratching it, scratching
exactly
the 4
hours,
5.
2025. Yeah, we're here. And we love it.
So today's episode, we are talking all things birth story. Every mom has one, good or bad, multiple or one.
Right.
But it's unique and special nonetheless. And so we're going to dive into our birth stories. But before we do that, I feel like it's a good time to just sort of do a temperature check, just to sort of see how you're doing, how I'm doing, before how you guys are doing. Because, life be lifing.
Yep. Things can literally change in an instant when you have kids.
Yeah.
Or at any time.
Or anything. Yeah.
Anytime.
Kids, work,
Kids, no kids,
marriage,
yeah.
all the things.
All the-
So yeah, how are you doing, Shan?
It's been a struggle for me personally. I have been diagnosed with seasonal affective disorder, SAD, since I was in my 20s. I don't know, I've done things to help me through these winter months. I am a January baby, so that is what gets me excited. Plus my son is a January baby. So these little things that come up, I get excited, but I struggle with energy, with being happy. But then also my hormones have been changing. I'm in that phase of like my child. One of them is saying my name, mama, mama, mama. And I'm like, what? Like what? Like what? It's just
There's a real
yeah.
yeah.
It's like what?
You're like trying to fix your tone. You're like, what?
So I've been really short with everybody, and I want to sleep a lot, and so I've been struggling with that. Also, just trying to keep everyone happy, and you make these grand gestures for your kids to make certain moments exciting, and then they turn out to be a disaster. But other than that, I had a really beautiful moment with my daughter, because now they're changing and their personalities are coming out. But normally before bed she'll say like, "I love you, mama," but she said something that just was really it just was basically something my mom would text to me, and I've never said this to her. So she said, love you much. And I just,
Naya said that.
Naya. And I just stopped because it literally
Made your heart skip a beat.
yeah, because I've never said that to her.
Wow.
And I just feel like God and my mother do talk to me through my children. I truly believe that. Like my son like the way he talks about Grandma Indra, it's like he knows her, and I truly feel that he does. Whether it's in her dreams, her her being, her spirit around her, and like he just knows her through me too. So that was probably one of the most beautiful moments I've had. That it took me out. And then she grabbed my face because I obviously got emotional. So yeah, she said, "Love you much," and I said, "What did you say?" She goes, "Love you much," and I was like. She obviously doesn't understand, but
No, yeah. It's absolutely those like God wink moments where
Yes.
you feel like it doesn't have to be something big and profound, but in that moment, there was like, there's no way that wasn't God kind of just giving you a bit of a little gesture, a kind gesture.
Exactly. And how are you feeling, Kayla?
Very similar to you, right? I don't know why we always we feel the need to almost like preface, because
that's true.
I don't want to ever come off as ungrateful. And I think that's really what it boils down to. But overall, I'm good. I am well. I'm doing my best, just transitioning, and it's a thing. Like it takes a while to, adjust to a whole new life, new season. Kennedy and I are, what's the word? Like we're just still getting adjusted to our new place, like right before the end of the new year, like heading into this 2025, there was just so much transition for me.
And unknowns.
Leaving my job, right? Walking into this new season, moving into a brand new place, which I shared on social media about that, just going through my separation and moving back in with family. And then now finally being in this place where I feel like I'm ready, and it's time for us to have our own home. So it's been nice, to just get well acquainted with our home, So between that and then really doing my best, just have open arms, open mind, open heart to whatever comes, because I feel like there is a lot of unknowns in this season right now. And instead of getting bogged down and stressed out, I'm choosing not to look at it like that. And I am choosing to say, all right, God, like every single day I am taking my hands off of the steering wheel. Literally. And I'm reminding myself that He's in control. So
exactly.
That's where I'm at.
Causes way less stress when you try to control situations that really you have no business controlling, but that is just human nature. But it's a fresh start for you guys, and that is just so beautiful. And I remember you saying that you were gonna, like, you had a goal in mind, and obviously God made this happen. But it's just, I'm reminding you, like, you put it out there that you wanted to have your own space for Kennedy and you before the new year,
And here we are.
And you're in the new year, and look at you, like, settled. It's you and her, right?
Yeah. So, no, you're right. And speaking of, this month, it's a big month. It's your birthday month. It's Kennedy's birthday month. It's Neo's birthday month. We have a lot of January birthday love on this show.
I feel like I get pushed to the side now.
No.
But
okay,
well,
actually,
no. I was born on my birthday, and I was like, girlfriend, you better leave that day to me, because I already told Nehemiah, you better not be born on my birthday, because you know how I feel about my birthday.
So I know, but you guys don't know. Shannon is she's a big birthday celebrator. Okay, so when we met, I'm not. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, yes, of course I get excited for my birthday.
Yeah.
And, when it rolls around, okay, sure. If we want to grab dinner or do something, yes, by all means. Shannon not only celebrates her birthday, she celebrates her half birthday every single
July 22nd.
July 22nd and January 22nd. And I know it's because, and I get it. I can understand that, because for me, I was like, why? Like, I don't... For what? But you're as someone who loves the beach and sunshine, as I know you do, and then for you to have a middle of winter birthday, I can understand why you feel not slighted, but you're just like, it doesn't
align with my being, who I am. So I do. I don't expect people to honor me on that day, but I will pull people into my shenanigans.
That's a great way of putting it.
Be like, let's go on a trip to celebrate my half birthday. And people will be like, literally happy. I'll post like happy half birthday to myself, and people are like, happy birthday. And I'm like, it's actually my half birthday. It's so embarrassing, but you have to celebrate it. Like, halfway to your real birthday is big.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. Or it's a time to maybe reflect,
because you halfway done that year.
Yeah. And speaking of reflecting, I feel like it's also, we're more than just a few days into the new year now. So how are those New Year's resolutions or tradition, whatever you want to call it, how's that going for you?
Yeah, so I'm beyond extra, maybe because I am a January baby. So, when I share with people what I do for January, my New Year stuff, people are like, whoa, you're special in that way. And
Okay, we'll share that quickly with our audience.
Okay, so I redo my vision board. I am huge. I've run workshops on my vision boards. Like as a teacher, I used to teach students how to do it. I somehow linked it to curriculum because I feel like it changes lives, including mine. And like I said, this podcast was on this vision board, and I'm about to pluck it off because it happened.
The Bible says, write it down, make it simple, make it plain. And that's essentially what vision boarding is.
Right, and it just makes you dream big. Like you don't look at it all the time, but it's there, and the intention is out there. You could journal whatever, but I love vision. I like putting it together, like cutting up the stuff. Like I bought like beautiful pins, like because I'm extra. But that's fine. And then I also write out every possible goal I have. So I get my old list. It's about 5 pages. There's like 100 items. It's ridiculous. And like it could be as small as, read 5 books, right? Or, it's big and small, but then I just check it off.
Yep.
And then I type up a new one, and I just love it. I love it. And then I put it in a folder. And my completion rate is above 50%. So I'm happy with that. And then last thing I really try to like use my gym membership and get back scheduling in time to move my body.
Absolutely.
Because it's, it's part of my lifestyle, but sometimes, I don't want to move.
Consistency.
Yeah, and just small goals. What do I need to do to make my body healthier in my mind?
Yeah.
So those are the things I love to do. And I do pick a word.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That was something that you...
No?
So, no, to answer your question, I've never really picked a word and like all-encompassing word.
Okay.
I've done vision boards before. Not every single year, I'll be honest, but I should make it a point because every time I'm a huge supporter of that too. I feel like when you make something, especially maybe because as a visual learner, maybe it hits differently for anyone out there that needs a visual.
Yes.
Vision boards are it. But as far as a word, my 2025 word, I have it. But since we're talking about it, I have one that comes to mind. Do you have yours?
Yeah, I actually
Are you willing to share it or is this personal?
No, I can share it because it's basically the first word that came to mind. I don't fight it. I just literally, and I don't know if I've used this word before because I can't remember what.
That's okay. So what is your 2025 word?
It's trust for me. Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
Flourish.
Ooh.
I feel like 2024, I went through a lot, and what comes to mind is being planted. Literally in the dirt where it's dark, where it's cold, where it for all intents and purposes it sucks. It's not fun, but it's necessary.
Yeah.
And now I'm choosing to walk into this new year, and it's going to be where you bloom, where you flourish.
I love that.
So that's what I'm claiming.
Cheers.
Cheers with our cute glasses that I love. And shout out to Paul for getting these done. And Paul's friend?
Yes. And we will shout that business out because they're beautiful.
Okay. So birth stories today.
Ooh.
Whew. Well, you obviously have 2 birth stories, of course.
I do, 2 different ones.
I have one, and mine was quite a journey.
Okay, so let's dive into yours, and let's start with what your birth. So I didn't realize until honestly a month before I was about to give birth that usually you have like my doctor was like, "What's your birth plan?"
Yeah,
it was pretty late in the game that I learned this term.
Right,
I was unaware. So I said, birth what? Like plan, like lesson plan, like what is this?
And birth plan basically, I mean, I guess to quickly summarize it, is simply just knowing, it's kind of just having somewhat of a strategy.
Yes. So like a blueprint-ish
of how it should go if in a perfect scenario.
How would you want it to go?
Correct.
Exactly. And your wishes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, okay, I guess we'll
tell me your birth plan versus how it went
expectation versus reality. First off, Kennedy was born on January 23rd at 41 weeks.
Okay, yeah.
So I was late, a 1 week late. right? Because, as everyone knows, 40 that's the number, right? And so, yeah, her initial due date was January 17th. Hence why when I was days late, you're thinking your birthday really was a possibility.
It was. I was nervous. Yeah.
Yeah. So as far as my game plan went, or what I envisioned and what I wanted, is I wanted to have a natural birth.
Okay.
At home.
I know. I was like, you go, girl.
Yeah.
I was a little bit envious. I was like, I wish I had that opportunity. I was very excited for you.
Wanted that. That's what I envisioned. Being an athlete, being someone who I felt like overall, I thought I had a relatively smooth pregnancy, no major hiccups.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes, I was blessed in that nature. I did have a scare in it was right at the edge of ending second trimester, heading into third trimester, where at the time I took the dogs for a walk.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah. And another dog, basically I got into like an accident and I fell because they ran and tried to chase the dog. And I fell forward. And so I landed on myself, and that was so scary.
It was. I remember that.
And, but thank God, just outside the physical bruises and the scratches all on my knees and on my elbows and everything, Kennedy was fine.
Yeah.
So that was like the only like real moment during the pregnancy where I was like, oh my gosh.
I remember that. My heart was like, I was,
whew. Yeah. Cause I remember like I took myself.
Is your dogs?
They're huge.
Big,
yeah,
big
right?
dogs, and it wasn't their fault. It's just
Wasn't
the type. They're so protective, and yeah. But
but it was also too like it was at night. It was raining. Like it was all the things. So anyway, that happened. Went to the hospital. They checked my heart rate, all that, and it was fine. So fast forward to. Really at this point January, but actually even December 2021, I was thinking she may come early, right? I remember starting to feel Jackson Hicks yeah, Braxton Jackson.
I was like, who's Jackson? Jackson.
There we go, Braxton Hicks.
Brax, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, is this happening? And I remember the last time I got checked, like everything was going right. Like she was facing, yeah. So I was like, okay, but she was warm and cozy in there. So, 38
It was
weeks.
January.
Yeah. 38 weeks, like nothing too crazy. Like, yes, contractions were, or at least what I thought, like the hicks were coming, but nothing crazy. 39, nothing. So this is like, at this point, this is like Christmas. Now this is into the new year. So this is January now. 39 weeks, nothing. 40. And I was like, okay.
What did they try? Did they tell you need to?
Yes. So at this point, I'm doing all the things. I'm doing all, and let me say this. At this point, girl, I'm over being pregnant.
I remember that, yeah.
Like, get this baby out. Like, let's go. Not to the point, though, where I was like, well, then I'm going to schedule a C-section. I wasn't that.
Yeah.
But I was mentally, I'm like, let's come on.
Right.
Any day now, So I was doing everything from like the natural side of things to do. So drinking the raspberry tea, eating dates, putting dates in my smoothie every morning. I was curb walking. You remember when you go on the sidewalk and you do like that, or going just up and down the stairs.
Yeah.
My yoga ball, all the things to sort of kind of get her going. Nothing was working.
No, she's like, I'm not coming.
And then finally, it was, so at that point, I was 45 days. And I remember it was Friday morning. It was like around 11 a.m. And then the contractions started. And I was just like, okay, I think this is it. Like, this is game time.
Game time.
And I had went to the grocery store.
Okay.
It was like the last run. Because like you said, this is middle of January and we were in a snowstorm.
Okay, pause for a sec. So at this moment, you didn't have an OB. What? You didn't have an OB. You had
so yeah, that's another part, I guess, of my birth plan is I went the midwife route.
Yes.
Yep.
So your pool is already set up.
Yes.
Okay.
Pool is already, so I had a midwife from the very beginning. Like, so when I found out I was pregnant and I was able to make that decision, do I want to go the OB route or do I want to go midwife? I went midwifery.
Okay.
And so had my midwife on standby. She was aware. Well, two of them were aware, right? And at this point, like, they were also aware of my plan of I wanted, as long as everything goes right. So I rented the pool filled it up. Well, yeah, at this point it was filled up, and then we were just gonna like added like hot water in it to like make it warm, but it was there lined with like towels all around, but it was in the dead smack in our living room. And yeah, so then I started feeling the contractions that morning. So that was early Saturday morning. And they just kept coming. And it was I labored for 50 hours.
Girl. Without taking any type of drugs.
I didn't say like not 15.
Yeah, 50.
50.
I know, because I remember when I was messaging you, I'm like, is this still happening?
This is definitely still happening. Yeah, because I really wanted an at-home natural birth. And so I labored. I did all the things. I was
50.
50. Girl, it was a weekend. It was a weekend marathon. That's how I do it. And so, I was just doing all the things. I got a little bit of sleep the first 24 hours, like napping here and there. But when they really started to intensify, I was not able to sleep.
No.
Right. So at this point, when my midwife did arrive at my house to check on me, I remember the first check, I thought based off the intensity of the contractions that I was going to be somewhere around 5, maybe 6 centimeters. Girl, I was at 2.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I remember that moment because I was like, give me the drugs.
I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean I am at
nothing prepares you for that.
And that really is like, that's a mind.
So she do the sweep? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
What was it called? What is it called?
I forget. But I know what you're talking
the word
about.
sweep is in there.
Yes, it's something sweep. To membrane. Membrane sweep?
Oh.
Is it?
No, that's mucous membrane. Did your mucous membrane fall out?
Girl, I don't know.
Did your water break? We didn't.
No, so we're not there yet.
Oh,
not
okay,
yet. At this
okay,
point
okay.
in the story, no, my water had not broken yet.
Okay.
So I'm simply laboring right now. So I'm dealing with these contractions and they are intensifying. So then when she tells me I'm at 2 and I'm over here like, I think I'm a relatively strong woman. I can handle pain.
Yes,
I'm
you
like,
can. You've had knee surgery.
Right.
Yeah,
ACL.
you've torn the ACL.
Like, I've rehabbed.
Yeah.
I've gone through some painful things, right?
Yes.
And I'm over here like, I would have pegged that pain thus far for these before she checked me, that was at around an 8.5. Like we're getting up there.
Yeah.
And so to know, I'm like, and I'm only at 2. So I was like, okay, deep breath. We're gonna mentally, we're gonna continue, like just keep my head down, stay focused on breathing through these contractions and go. And so the hours continue to pass.
Did anytime you just lose it, like you're crying or like, did it get to you? Because 50 hours. Oh, I didn't even last that long. I was not trying to last that long. So
short answer is yes. So fast forward, at this point now it's like 11, it's approaching midnight going into Sunday.
Okay.
So this is January 22nd.
Yes.
And I remember I've done all the things. She made me do stairs. She made me do like hip exercise, all these things just to try to continue to move baby girl down. And I remember, okay, we're going to check. Like she was like, I'm hopeful that we've made some progress. I was at 4 centimeters.
Jeez.
And at this point we are approaching, we're past 24 hours. We're well
you're
past.
exhausted.
Yeah. And so we're actually approaching now, this is closer to almost like 36. And at that point, that was when my midwife said, I know you want this home birth and I know that this was your plan, but at this point we have to consider bringing you into the hospital and so maybe we can get you an epidural so that you can rest.
Yes.
And that's when I broke down.
Of course.
I cried because I just felt like in that moment, it felt like my body was failing me. Why was I not progressing the way I thought I should be progressing? And I was enduring all of this pain but with no reward. Like I should be at 8 by now, right? Or somewhere closer to 10 centimeters. And so, but after I had like a good cry, I said, okay, at the end of the day, in the moment, I'm thinking, yes, sure, I wanted the aesthetics of it,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
I had this vision in my mind, but I was like, girl, you want you and Kennedy to be safe. That's really what that is top tier. So I did have a hospital bag ready because part of my birth plan was that I did have a hospital as a backup.
Okay, yeah.
So I wasn't like, nope, it's house or bust. No, I did. So off we went to McMaster Children's Hospital in Hamilton. And when we arrived, they were already expecting me. And again, this was on the tail end of COVID. So it was only like bare minimum people, VIPs only, right? So myself, Kennedy's dad, the midwife, and the anesthesiologist came in the room pretty quickly.
Okay.
And boom, administered the epidural. Thank God, because
That went smoothly.
That went very smoothly
Okay, good.
I felt it immediately, and I was like, oh, this is what I was missing out on. Hey, why didn't I do this sooner? No, okay, but yes, it was immediate, and at this point, it's like 3-4 in the morning, so I was
Of January 23rd.
of January 23rd,
Yeah.
and I was exhausted, and so they were like, you need some rest. So I slept probably for about maybe 4 or 5 hours, and when I woke up and the nurse came in to check me, not only was I at 10 centimeters, my water had also broke.
The epidural honestly does that.
Yeah.
I did not know.
So it was like my body just needed rest.
Yeah.
And
To relax.
yes, exactly. So yeah. And then from there, with pretty soon, all I remember was they were like, yep, think it's time to push. And at that point, I remember I pushed for about 30 minutes. And then she arrived at 1:38 p.m. on January 23rd. And that is so when it all kind of hindsight, I asked my midwife, I asked the nurses, why? Why did I labor for that long? Like, why was I stalled? Like, and another thing too and again, I'm not scaring any. I don't feel like when I share the story that it's scary, because it's my experience, right?
Exactly.
And it doesn't mean it's going to be anyone else's. However, when I was preparing for birth, and because we are athletes, so you can understand this, I was always told that contractions are similar to like HIIT workouts. So when I was pregnant, I tried my best to stay as active as I could. I worked out for majority of my pregnancy until I really couldn't. And so I would keep in mind HIIT workouts. So 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, or 60 seconds on, 90 seconds off, right? To build that endurance, because I was told that contractions are kind of like that. So you breathe through those 30 to 90 seconds max is like kind of how long an average contraction would be. I was having 4 to 5 minute long contractions at like level 10 pain. And this was when I was still at home, laboring at home. And I could not understand why. I was like, why is this happening? Why are they so long?
Right.
This was not part of the plan. This was not what I had read or what people told me. And come to find out, when Kennedy, as she was progressing downward, her head and shoulder were tucked.
Oh.
And that right there is called asynclitic.
Okay.
Asynclitic, like being like this, it prevents, so instead of being straight on and down, stalls it delays it lengthens contractions, and it delays the process.
See, things we would never know unless we go through it.
And I there was no way of preparing for that. So I ultimately, yes, I got my answer, but did I get my perfect birth plan, like how I envisioned it? No, I didn't. But at the end of the day, I got a beautiful, healthy girl.
Did you know her gender?
I did.
I know the answer, but just okay.
Yeah. And I remember us kind of having like differing opinions on it, but I wanted to know. And I always said, if I have another child, I would want to experience just like wait till the delivery, keep it a surprise. But with my first, I was so eager to find out.
No.
And I was wrong actually too, because I thought when I found out I was pregnant, I thought I was having a boy.
Oh.
And then when
because you remember the gender
balloon,
reveal. Yeah.
And I popped the balloon and I saw pink. I was like, okay. That's Kennedy's birth story. That's my birth story in a nutshell. So unconventional in the sense of the length, I'm well aware. Like when I say 50, people are like, girl, right? So I get that. But then at the same time, overall, like, thank God, never felt like my life was truly in danger, because that is something that a lot of us women,
Yes.
we go through. And I'll always say this: pregnancy, and especially delivering, having a child, is life-threatening. You just never know what could go wrong. No. And no one, of course, we want and pray for the best, but you really never know.
No.
And it is ultimately something that is out of our control, that you pray that it goes well.
Yeah. So really personal. I don't know if you want to answer this, but did you have any tearing?
So I did.
Okay.
I believe it was 2nd degree.
Okay.
So not bad, but it was definitely there.
Okay.
And I lost a lot of blood.
Okay.
I was a few liters away from hemorrhaging.
Jeez. Okay. And did they say that was there was a reason for that, or?
No, I don't know. Yeah, no.
Do you know you also have to give birth to your placenta?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Was
right.
there any issues with that?
No.
Okay.
But that did. It was under 30 minutes.
Okay.
And then boom, part 2.
See, these are things I did not know.
Yeah, I hear you.
Because I didn't Google anything because I didn't want to.
You didn't want to scare yourself?
No, and I also didn't ask any of my mom friends who had. I just didn't want to know. Maybe that was like, I don't know if that was the best idea, but for me, I wanted to just focus on what I did know. So
plus, I'm also mindful too, especially even now when I share my story, like, because it's mine, right?
Exactly.
And even if I share it with you, I don't want to scare you, because ultimately you can know your best friend, your mother, your sisters, your aunt's story. You can say, like, I come from a birthing family of, like, yeah, we all had no epidural, just pop the baby out in 5 minutes, boom, bada bing, bada boom. But yours is still unique.
And there's also nothing wrong with taking epidural. I felt like, not that I felt like anyone was judging me, but I think there's a stigma around, like, oh, if you take an epidural, you're weak.
Well, call a spade a spade. It is. It's out there. It's like there is that stigma that's lingering. It's the same stigma around women who choose not to breastfeed or can't breastfeed.
Right, exactly.
And then it's like the people that believe that that is best.
Breast is best, yeah.
Right? And then it's like there's this judgment, and there's a multitude of reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
Why someone has to get an epidural, why a woman has to use formula, or if it comes down to choice. So no, I get that. The hemorrhaging, though, that knowing how close I was, that was scary.
Yeah.
And then in hindsight, I wondered, if everything went the way it did, and I did it at home, and I lost that amount of blood at home.
The what ifs, yeah. You don't want to go down that.
Don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but it was a legitimate thought.
Yeah.
And then,
but you were not considered a high risk at all. There was no red flags.
No.
Yeah, because that wouldn't.
I passed my sugar test.
Yeah, your midwives probably would not have signed off on a home birth if you did have any red flags. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's mine in a nutshell. And then from there, but because I lost that much blood, they kept us for 24 hours.
Okay.
So I had to stay, because some people, you can give birth at 2 o'clock and you're home by 6.
Yeah.
Or even sooner.
Yeah.
But no, we stayed. And then from there, they heard a bit of a murmur in Kennedy's heartbeat. And they wanted to do a few more tests on her. So all in all, we ended up, and this is during, like I said, the tail end of COVID. So we ended up staying in the hospital for 3 days. Yeah, so we didn't get to go home until the 27th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's unexpected. Yeah. Because I think everyone expects to have their baby just go home. I was happy with staying an extra day.
Let's talk about, like, those first few hours when you get home and you're like, okay, like, this baby's yours, and you're responsible now. There's no nurse. There's no one else to. I know. It's such a surreal moment.
Before we wrap up your story, curious to know, because I had to go with an OB. I'll talk about why.
Yeah.
Why did you choose a midwife?
Yeah. So for me, it came down to feeling as if midwifery is much more personal.
Okay.
And it feels more intimate. That's my opinion on it. And I just remember when I spoke to women who did have an OB, a lot of them felt like it was just very technical. Yeah. It just, you check off a box, you see them, I guess really like at least once a trimester, if not maybe a bit more. But ultimately, it was the idea too that the OB you see during your 9 months is not necessarily the OB that will be in the delivery room. And I felt like I wanted someone who knew me, who knew that I wasn't just going to be like, okay, they pick up my clipboard. Okay, William, it's Kayla, you know?
Yeah, it
So
feels
I
very
wanted
odd.
there to be some level of relationship. So
Yeah.
I chose to go the midwifery route. Ironically enough, though, because I labored so long, the midwife who was with me, who was with me for at least the first, I'd say 75% of my laboring, she ended up having to go home because there's rules when it comes to like, they can only be on call or on schedule for so many hours, and then you have to switch off. So I ended up having a midwife who I did not know.
Wow.
But thank God she ended up being lovely.
Yeah.
And I was very grateful that she was the one in the room when I did finally give birth.
Cannot plan these things.
Cannot.
No.
Yeah. So that's mine. It's time for yours.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess, naturally, let's start with Neo's, your first birth story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't go into pregnancy because we'll talk about that on a whole other episode.
Yeah.
But he was due around my birthday.
Right? Because you guys are pretty much birthday buddies.
Yeah. And again, I'm pretty self-centered when it comes to my birthday. And I was like, maybe this is God's way of like humbling me, like
Maybe making you less.
share my birthday.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, fine. So for Nehemiah, who's due on the 25th, I felt great going up to it. Raspberry tea leaf, all the things, exercising, walking. I wasn't like, there was literally no signs I was going into labor. Paul had to go to work Friday night. He works a youth program. So I told him to go because we were due the next day, right? I told him to go. I was fine. And then when he left, it was around 7 p.m. on the 24th of January. And I started to feel some cramping. And I did see some blood.
Okay.
So that freaked me out.
That's scary. Yeah.
Yeah, it did. So basically, a little insight, like I literally was in denial I was pregnant until I gave birth. And there's a reason.
What?
Yeah, because I didn't think it was real.
Because of my
history. So
Okay.
it's so crazy for me to say. I haven't shared that with anyone, but like I didn't take professional maternity photos. I just, because I was like, I need to see my baby.
You were holding your breath all 9 months.
I was, even though this was a miracle, I knew like there's no way that God would give me this baby naturally after everything and not follow through. But there were so many things that were happening and I was like, I am not. So I was literally in denial up until I started to like have contractions. So
This is happening.
so he went to work. I saw blood and I was like, uh-oh. And then no water breaking, nothing. I called him. He rushed home. He was freaking out. It was a snowstorm. That's the thing about January babies too. So I had to give birth at Sunnybrook, which is a high risk hospital for women. I was labeled high risk just due to the fact of age and the fact that I have not carried baby to term and lost a baby, but I have had lots of instances where I wasn't able to carry a child, embryos, whatnot. So they labeled me as that, which is why I wasn't able to go the midwife route. That made me a little sad, but then again, I'm like, listen, I wasn't supposed to be able to have a child. So like, I'm good. I'm going to just take my OB. She was at Sunnybrook. Again, like you said, little bit cold, little bit like, in and out. There was no, like, I was trying to like, not be friends with her, but like,
But
how
you want to feel a connection.
little warm. Yeah, it wasn't like that at all. I was like, wow, she's all about business, but little did I know she is so good at her job.
Okay.
And
that's the bottom line.
Basically, like, I don't need a friend. I need you to deliver a healthy baby and keep me alive.
Hello.
So I found that out with Naya, actually, because there was a complication with her. But for Nehemiah, I go to the hospital. Again, COVID hasn't hit yet. So we're like, I really wanted my mom there. And it was weird because Paul's mom, I didn't ask her to be there either, which I'm wondering like why I decided just to have me and him, but we were there and it felt like just very intimate. And my doctor was on call, like she was there.
Okay.
So I was very happy with that. Cause again, I wasn't kind of aware of the fact that there's a chance you're not going to have your doctor. I learned this as I went, but yeah, I went in first thing. I was like gripping the car. Like I was in pain. And again, I have a very high pain threshold. I've lived with endometriosis since I've had my period. Athlete, like I ran 400 meters. Like I have a very high lactic acid threshold. Do you know what I mean? Like who runs 400 meters for fun, right? So I was like in my head, I'm like, I got this natural. So, my birth plan, right?
Yeah. So you too wanted to have a natural birth.
Natural.
Yes.
So I thought that was what strong women do. Like me. Yeah, natural, and pretty much that was it. Cause like,
And it's not that you weren't opposed to epidural, but you were just like, right, I'm strong, I'm capable, why not?
right. And then my contractions hit and I almost fell over. So I was like, oh no. Soon as my contraction hit, I was at home and I said, Paul, I'm just telling you, birth plan has changed. I'm taking drugs. He's like, do whatever you could. He was very supportive. Like at first he was like, are you sure it's safe for I'm like, listen, I think I was born with an epidural. I'm good. Like, so no, we're gonna pray over this. We're fine.
Right.
Like, we're good. So get to the hospital. I said, first thing I said is like, where's the guy or the woman? Like, where are the people? Where's the anesthesiologist? Like, I need, like, come on, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Before he go or she goes on their break, bring it. No, I was like, I'm not playing. I did not hesitate because I was like, because I didn't even know how many centimeters I was.
Oh, you didn't even know?
No, I was like, I am not dealing with this. Like, I am not being a hero.
So from when you started to feel those cramps,
Yeah, so
aka
7
contractions,
p.m.
and then when you arrived to the hospital,
It was about 2 a.m.
Okay,
we
so about
waited a
5
bit,
hours.
yeah, because I wasn't sure to go like the blood, or
more.
I think it might have been the mucus plug, but like, again, I don't know. I honestly did not know what this was. We didn't call anyone. We just went with our gut. Like, we're gonna go.
yeah.
Because
If you go too early, they'll send
you home. And Sunnybrook is far for us.
Right.
It's not a close hospital. So that's why I said, like, we should just go and like chill. Hopefully they're not going to kick us out of the hospital because like we don't live close, but they could have.
Yeah.
But I felt in my gut I had to go because I'm not comfortable with bleeding.
Yeah.
Without any type of monitoring. So yeah, they were monitoring, checked to see how dilated I was. Again, 2-3 centimeters. I was like, are you? So again, like as I'm waiting for the epidural, I was like, bro, like, so I was just waiting. It went.
Is it not like your heart sinks?
And I think it's different for everyone because I've heard women like they literally can give birth like it literally like they don't need it. They just the baby just came out or they didn't have time for that epidural or
babies in their car on the way to the hospital,
Exactly.
or in the hallway or whatever. Yeah.
So there's no guarantee you're going to be in this much pain. It was just shocking for me, like you said.
Yeah.
We have this threshold of pain.
Yeah.
So again, I felt slightly like a failure, but then I'm like, I am too old to for this, like to push through.
Yeah.
I want to like enjoy this birth. So that was my mindset. If I get the epidural, I can literally enjoy pushing. I can enjoy feeling this moment as opposed to like, I want to whip
like
someone's face off or I want to scream and no, like I was at peace with that. From what I know from this pregnancy, it's so funny how they both kind of get blended in.
Yeah.
It went really smoothly.
Neo's did.
Yeah. Like one time it was scary though. Like he tried once, it went in like to put the
for your
epidural because with Nia it didn't go like that. Yeah. So it's
a relatively smooth epidural process.
Yeah. I was just like, you hear stories.
Yeah, of course. I know plenty of women who grow like 2, 3, 4 attempts.
Yeah, right.
On your spine.
And then I have 3 partial herniated discs in my lower lumbar. So I had to give them the MRI because I was honestly, because if you hit the disc, like, I don't know. So I was a little bit nervous, but again, when you're in so much pain, you're just like, God, please, like, give this doctor guidance. Like
calm hands. And just
so it went smooth. Okay, the epidural changed my life, girl. I was like, what?
You could take a deep breath. You could relax.
So why did I go from 3 centimeters to 9 within like 15 minutes? Like it was like we are ready.
Rock and roll.
We are ready.
Let's do this.
Yeah. So it happened really fast.
Yeah.
To the point where I was like, what? Okay. And then I pushed for 10 minutes. It was so fast. 10. And I enjoyed every single minute. I'm not even joking. I was like, this is amazing. Because I felt nothing.
Yeah.
Except pressure.
Okay, so I forgot to share this detail of mine. So as you're saying, like, I felt nothing, right? So I did feel something.
Okay.
Reason being is when the time came to push.
Yeah.
It was as if my epidural was starting to wear off. But can I tell you, it literally was only my left butt cheek. So I was getting the 10 out of 10 intensity pain.
Yeah.
trickling down my left butt cheek. And now it was only, so I had to position myself on the bed to lean on my right butt cheek so I wouldn't feel it as bad. But it was this weird feeling
Yeah, that
of
is
like,
weird.
I enjoy it. Like I was like, I'm definitely not in as much pain as I was without it. But at the same time, I was like, really?
Yeah. Because epidural is supposed to freeze you all. Like it's like getting freezing in your mouth, right? Like
Exactly.
just the whole area should be frozen.
But for whatever reason, the left butt cheek wanted to just be like,
yeah, that'd be distracting because also you cannot move, so you can't stand up and squat your baby out or anything.
No. I could. That's the thing. I still felt like I was still strong enough to like do a bridge. I could. I had moved. Like I could move my
your
legs.
epidural wore off, girl. That's when you should have been like.
So
I guess it was too late.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's too late. There's a time.
But yours was the point where you weren't feeling your legs at this point.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
I just felt pressure.
I love that for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So 10 minutes of pushing.
Yeah. The lady was like, that was one of the fastest, like, and I felt so nice. I was like, because I'm an athlete.
You're like, thanks.
I bragged about it. Like, I'm not lying. I was like, it only took me 10 minutes. And no, when he came out, I was a surprise. He was a surprise. Like we didn't know the gender.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Remember so I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Paul did not.
Okay.
We had a fight about it.
Yeah.
The gender was in an envelope on my nightstand. And I was like borderline going to give it to you so you could find out to tell me.
Me?
But and then I would know, but he wouldn't know because I really wanted to know. But he convinced me that, it's the greatest surprise you'll ever experience.
But you know what? Given your background, given your story as a couple, and I know you'll share, like you'll go into a deeper dive of how long you and Paul waited.
Yeah.
I can understand, like, what's another 9 months?
Yeah, and
you guys waited damn near 9 years.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's another 9 months?
No, and I appreciated him sticking to his guns with this because it was so beautiful. Because, there's that myth that the girl steals your beauty, the boy makes you very beautiful. Like you radiate beauty, glow. My pregnancy was so perfect to the point, like I said, I was in denial. I was like,
almost like is this too good to be true?
Yeah, like I literally just had a bump, but I was like doing everything. And it was odd for me because I expected it to be very hard.
Right.
But yeah, so when I had a feeling it was a boy, and the fact that it was a boy, and he's basically like a mini me.
He is.
To help heal my heart a bit,
Yeah.
I'm not putting that burden on him, but like, Naya's pregnancy, like it was hard. Like girl energy, like it was. So I needed it to be easy because of what I had to go through at 7 months pregnant.
And the time, like I said, the timing of it, because you were how many months post your mom's death?
So 7 months she passed, and so like 2 months.
So it's beautiful in the sense that at least there was some bit of like a ray of hope, sunshine, and in the sense that you had like a very nice
It was very nice. And the crazy thing is he looked just like my family. So my husband was like, is this my child? Because it, like, honestly, you would think, because, I don't know, sometimes
baby's from the Caucasus, the Caucasus Mountains.
Exactly. Look just like my family. And again, I think it was because of the comfort I needed at that time. So yeah, it was just, everything was beautiful. And I had 2nd-degree tearing. So Sunnybrook is a training hospital.
Oh.
So
don't tell me.
They have to ask permission. But like there was a student, they practiced sewing me up. Yeah, it was odd. But I did bleed a little bit more than they wanted to, but nothing crazy. And literally, I think my plan was pretty much just like, I need to survive and my baby needs, because there was a lot of, they were scared. We didn't do genetic testing, which I'll talk about in another episode, but there was a lot of like, there's something wrong with this baby. So I just was like this. Like
the anxiety and fear were already up there.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I just need to get this baby and make sure he's fine.
Yes.
And he is perfect. Nothing that they said was wrong with him from the ultrasound was true. Praise God. Like, so that was Nehemiah.
Okay, now Naya Grace.
Naya Grace.
Now that's the one where it says girls steal the mother's beauty. I can't say I can relate to that statement, but that is one of those old wives' tales.
Yeah, I mean, I felt beautiful with Neo. I also felt beautiful with Naya, except I was exhausted because I was running after a toddler.
Correct. That plays a huge role.
Huge. We did not plan this.
Yes, I still remember the day you told me. I do. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Again, because it's like after so many years of trying, And I was like, what do you mean you guys are going back to back? What?
Right? At 41. And then that's also being told I can never have kids naturally. And then this was natural. Again, there's so much to tell, but it was surprise. So they're 17 months apart.
Is that considered Irish twins?
No, I think it's close. I think it's like it can't be 12
or 13.
13.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But again, I was like, I need to find the gender because I need to know if I can keep his clothes,
right?
Or whatever. But yeah, I won't talk about the pregnancy. But same OB, and I remember her saying like at the 6-week visit, she was like, so what are you going to do to not get pregnant again? And I just looked at her like, girlfriend, if I get pregnant again, I'm okay with it. Like,
right. Why did she say it like that?
Because that's what they say. Because they're like, you're so fertile after the first. But like, I don't think she really took in.
She also doesn't know your background.
She doesn't know.
Like
even though I told her, she doesn't care. She's like all about business. So she's like, are you going to go birth control? I'm like, no. No. We're just, if it happens, it happens. So when I came back, she started laughing. I was like, okay, well, same OB again. She was growing on me because I was like, she knows what she's doing. She's like very good at what she does. At Nehemiah's like he was on a commercial. She was due the next day. Again, we're on schedule. No cramping. I heard that with your second, they can come faster. And if you start going into if you start getting cramps, like literally the baby can fall out. This is what I'm hearing.
Okay.
So I was like, ooh, I was a little nervous, but we were on set with him. I felt just exhausted.
Sure.
Other than I'm running after he was literally a baby. Again, went home. No water breaking, nothing, just contractions. So similar. I was like, okay, I didn't wait. I didn't wait a couple hours. I was like, we need to go because I was actually scared that she would come fast.
Right.
Little I didn't know.
And did she?
No.
Oh.
I think it was over 24 hours.
Oh.
Yeah. I have to do the numbers, but it was long.
Okay.
It was long. In my head, I was like, I'm getting epidural right away as soon as, yeah. But when we got to the hospital, it wasn't available or something. We had to wait a long time. I think that night there were so many women giving birth.
They were short?
They were just backed up. Literally I had to sit in the chair for hours. Yeah. And there was no access to get the epidural until I got checked and whatever. So I was like, you gotta be kidding me, right? I thought she was gonna come out again, got checked. So again, Sunnybrook Teaching Hospital. First, so the practice doctor, who's very young, he asked if he could check the cervix, right? I was like, go for it. Did this check
the sweep. Man
tells me, great news. You're 6-7 centimeters dilated. I was like, yes.
Okay.
Wait. Not my doctor. She wasn't there. So I was freaking out a bit because I was like, I really want my doctor, but she wasn't there. I was like, okay. I didn't think she would be there for the birth, but she comes in, this other doctor. She checks me. She's like, honey, you're only 2 centimeters.
Huh? Oh, I would have been like, what is that person's name?
I was so mad because mentally it messed me up.
Of course.
Yeah. It messed me up.
From 7 down to 2.
And again, pain was here. I was like, give me the drugs. The drugs, I don't know. Like I said, they were doing a switch over. It was so packed. Next beside me is this lady. She's screaming at the top of her lungs, screaming. So I'm dealing with that and I'm whatever. So we're trying, finally get into the room a couple hours later, and the epidural, the anesthesiologist, again, I say, yes, give it to me, whatever. Yeah. I'm over it. I'm done. Literally 5 tries. Paul was he was gonna faint. Cause imagine, the need. Okay. It's you don't want to watch someone do that to someone, let alone do you want to feel he's you need to cause I was having contractions so regularly.
He's I need you to stay still.
Because we waited, I couldn't I had to go in between the contractions. So then I had to be still, and then I was scared that and then it wasn't working. Okay. Finally I said, stop. No, we're done. I can't do this. He gave me a dose. Okay. It worked, but it wasn't a full, something happened. He was I don't know if he was new. Oh. Anyways, I'm not feeling relief at all. Okay.
Right.
I throw up everywhere because I guess I don't know, the anxiety.
Maybe all.
Yeah. So then they're monitoring Naya's heart rate. It's increasing. Something's not right. All of a sudden, 6 doctors come running in.
Monitors beeping? Did something change?
But all I remember is a whole herd of doctors. And I was like, Paul's like, what is happening? And they're not telling us. So all I hear is like, go turn to the side, and like asking me to turn. And they're talking, and then they're like, turn to the other side. I guess like the umbilical cord was wrapped around her neck. Mm-hmm. And her heart rate was going up. So this was a time where I was like, they said, you're going to have to go in for a C-section.
I was going to say emergency C-section.
And I started bawling because like your birth plan versus reality, like
Sure.
WTF, like, or wow, you just don't, sometimes you just don't even think about these things. My doctor comes running in. I was like, she's like, no, we are not doing a C-section right now. She's older, so she's done this. I am so grateful for her, even though I was like, the doctor that was there, they just wanted to be safe. And I get it. But because my doctor's experience, she was like, I'm going to try something. So she actually went in with her hand
to try and almost maneuver
her and turn her. I'm like, girl, whatever you got to do. But I, again, was in shock. I was scared. Paul was like, I don't even know. Like I had a mask on.
And at this point, are you feeling your epidural?
No, I was in pain. So it didn't work.
Yeah.
So what I heard afterwards is that sometimes the epidural, when you have like a second, it doesn't work. They don't know why. It just didn't work at all. But at this point, I was so scared for her, my baby, right? So yeah, she was able to somehow turn her, and I pushed, and I started pushing. She goes, stop, you have to stop. Because every time I push, her heart rate would go up because it was choking her. I was like, God, okay. So literally I felt the urge to push, but I wasn't allowed.
You were trying not to, yeah.
Yeah, it was like the reverse. So then like she again went in there. Again, her whole hand is in there. It's just usually the way you get violated. Like,
yeah, oh yeah.
You just don't care anymore, right? After this. And then eventually she's like, you're going to push, but slow. Push slow. I was like, okay. Push slow. She brings her out, and as she's coming out, Paul told me, because I did not see.
Yeah, you can't see.
She unraveled it,
and I'm guessing it was probably multiple. It's fairly normal. When it's wrapped around once, but multiple then suddenly.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
And then I heard her cry, and then I'm legit bawling. I cried with Nehemiah just because I was so happy he was here.
Two different types.
Yeah, with her it was like I felt like I was about to lose her, and. Yeah, it was crazy. Everything was okay. And then I started to bleed out.
Did you hemorrhage?
Yeah, I did. But then I said, Paul was like, no to the
resident.
I don't think the resident was trying to even attempt to.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So I don't remember like giving birth to the placenta. Do you remember that? Because I don't really remember.
Yeah, I do. Because my nurse, she was so great and very, she must have been maybe like a teaching nurse. She was very, open to telling me all about my placenta. She gave me a placenta tour.
Ooh.
So I had my placenta, like here I am on the bed.
Yeah.
And here to the side of me is this table with my placenta on it. And she flipped it and she showed me like the tree of life.
That.
I still have the video of it.
I would want to have that experience.
Yeah. And so she literally so here's the umbilical cord.
Oh my gosh.
Here, and like she showed it.
That is so cool.
Imagine we grew that. We grew it and then it's expelled and then our bodies are incredible.
But people use that and put it into powder.
I know.
And
I don't know about all that, but
it's a life force that we have to also give birth to. I remember it on the table, but again, no one's talking to me about it. I would have loved that tour. If someone has a baby again, I'm going to be there for the tour.
Can I see the tour? Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe if
yeah.
And that's another reason too why part of me, when saying yes to even starting this project, only time will tell. Only God knows at 36, if I will ever have another child again. If you ask me, do I want one? I would say that the answer is yes.
Yeah.
But I'm completely open to whatever ultimately God's will is for my life.
Exactly.
Whether that is a yes or a no. Or maybe it comes in a different form.
Yeah.
In the form of
family.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. And I'm completely open to that as well. However, if it were to happen and I carry the child, I 100% I'll really be considered, because I technically wasn't considered geriatric.
No, you'll be a geriatric. You'll get the stamp of approval.
Sorry,
advanced maternal age.
Advanced maternal age, exactly. So, we never know, right?
Never know.
That right there sort of
3 different birth stories.
3 very different birth
Yeah.
stories. So if anything, like the big takeaway from this is that yours will be different too.
Exactly.
For anyone out there who maybe is listening and hasn't experienced it, I will say, hearing people's stories before I had my own, it kind of scared me. But then when I became pregnant, like I understood though that you are so much stronger than you think. And the things that we go through, like all of this is just examples of how incredible women are, how strong we are, the way in which we persevere, all for the sake of our children.
Yeah.
Right. And then ultimately, right, these are also 3 stories of, thank God, women of color who have who came out unsafe, because that's another thing too, right? When it comes to the healthcare system and not feeling seen
Or heard,
or being trusted that, hey, something doesn't feel
off.
right,
Yeah,
something's off,
exactly.
right? And being listened to.
Yeah, exactly. So there you have it. It's just so nice to go back to those moments. I'm getting like kind of excited.
Yeah, you remember, like you think back, like you remember the room, like what it looked like and all of those things. I still remember walking into the bathroom and looking at the mirror and being so amazed that I still looked so pregnant. I still looked 100% 9 months pregnant. Like, and again, but when you don't know these things, like you just expect like, boop, okay, baby's out. So like that it just kind of falls. No.
And I think more people are sharing these things on social media now.
I agree.
Than before.
Yeah.
Unless like I wasn't really looking at certain things, before I got pregnant. But there's a lot of reality checks and just coming back to like, we're the vessel that carried the life to bring the life. And now we have to take care of it, right? And provide just so much. And it's just, that's a whole other, wow. Like,
we want to hear from you all. Like, please share with us your experience. Like, if you're willing and open to, talk to us. Was it a good one? Was it a bad one? Or I won't say bad, but was it a bit unexpected or traumatic? We would love to hear those stories. And we also want to get very interactive with our followers and our viewers. And so you can follow us on our socials as well at Mama and Her Podcast, Instagram, TikTok, and
YouTube.
Yeah. But I feel like this is a perfect ending point as we are wrapping up this episode now. And we don't want to leave it on like, I feel like this episode was heavy. It's heavy, right? Like, because we're sharing this, it is what it is, right? It's part of the birthing journey and the motherhood journey, but we want to end on a lighthearted note. And so one thing about Shannon and I is that we, like many, I think, we communicate via reels. So we stay, like, reels is a love language. I think the love languages should get updated, and like a 6th one should be sending reels. And so we have so many, especially when it comes to just relatable motherhood, that I think a lot of you out there can maybe perhaps relate to. So we have a few lined up, and we just want to share. I feel like these are our reels of the week.
Yeah, reels of the week.
Or reels of the month, whatever you want to put, however you want to put it. But take a look at this one. And I think anyone who's a toddler parent can relate to this. Can I tell you that literally this has been me all week?
Wait, how many stories do you read to her?
It ranges from 3 to 7.
Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes...
Did you say 7?
Yeah.
Oh.
But sometimes it depends. Like, there'll be short books,
yeah.
right? So, but once we get into like one good long one, I'm like,
no, when it does.
Listen, if I'd be lying if I said I didn't skip a couple pages.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just
my thumb is thick.
Oh, look at that. We're at the second last page. I'm tired.
I'm so tired. So I have to do one book each. They both pick. But I have skipped 3 to 4 pages. But the problem is Nehemiah knows now. I'm oblivious.
Yeah. So is Kennedy still. However, Yeah. So now that trick
No, it
doesn't
work.
ride.
But girls, bedtime stories sometimes. So I have this new tactic. I say instead of a story, I'm gonna make up a story, and it's like the lights are off, and I say a story. So it's as long as I need it to be. But the
Okay.
lights are already off, so they're already like wine as opposed to lights on. We're still sitting here. You know, that depends.
But this reel had the way it's like.
I know.
So just the other day, she said, "Mommy, slow down.
Oh.
You're going." I said. It was one of those. I was like, A is for asparagus. It's like the alphabet of vegetables. A is for asparagus. B is for green beans. Zero. I was just trying to go through. She was like, slow down.
So funny. Yep. She's gonna soon know. She's gonna know.
All right. And this next one,
You don't know.
until you know. But when I tell you, like, he is my spirit animal because all of those, those are my facial expressions. So often am I just like,
No, you literally think you have something figured out, and then
bam, a new level is unlocked.
and we don't get any type of rewards for conquering any type of levels. Like,
No.
once you get to a new level, the old one's gone.
Or
the one
you-
that you think that you've mastered, gone.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you're just like, oh, you don't even have time to catch your
There
breath.
is no preparation for this.
No, it's the truest version of learning on the job.
Yep. And going with the flow and just laughing because what are you going to do?
Right.
All this.
I mean, yes.
Oh my gosh. Anyways.
Oh, but yeah. All right. Well, that about does it for this episode of Mama and Her, the podcast where motherhood, faith, and community meet. We love you for joining in. We thank you for spending time with us. And
don't forget to share if you love what we're doing, what we're talking about. Share, like, comments. We need participation so we can build our community.
absolutely. So we will see you next time on episode 3.